Okay, everyone, let's hop in our time machine and travel back to the era before cell phones and social media, where the charm of the root beer stand awaits us. Let's set the scene. It's a balmy summer evening, and the sun casts a warm glow as it dips below the horizon. Families gather, friends laugh, and the hum of conversation mingles with a soft clink of glasses. Root beer, as we know it today, owes its commercial success to the ingenuity of pharmacist Charles Elmer Hires. His root beer extract, which debuted at the Philadelphia Sentinel Exposition in 1876, paved the way for the drink's widespread popularity.
Since 1876, for pleasure and thirst.
You taste the difference. The flavor of actual roots, bark, and herbs.
Here's to ya, all your taste desires, for purity and better flavor. Stop and have a Hires.
In 1886, Hires began bottling a beverage made from his famous extract. And by 1893, root beer was widely distributed across America. One of Hires' early competitors was Barks, which began selling its sarsaparilla-based root beer in 1898. In 1919, Roy Allen established the first root beer stand in Lodi, California, serving the beverage during a parade that honored veterans returning from World War I. And the stand was a success, and Roy Allen partnered with Frank Wright, and A&W Root Beer was born. In 1925, Roy Allen, who had already bought out his partner, began selling franchises to other operators, establishing America's first ever franchise restaurant chain. By 1933, there were 170 A&W franchised restaurants, and although there was no standard menu, most featured snacks like popcorn and peanuts and sandwiches on sliced bread. The 1950s and 60s were the heyday of root beer stands. These decades saw a boom in car ownership, and drive-in culture became a defining feature of American life. Root beer stands capitalized on this trend, offering car hop service where waiters and waitresses would bring food and drinks directly to customers' cars. And root beer stands were more than just places to grab a drink. They were vibrant social hubs adorned with neon signs, colorful awnings, promising frosty, flavorful root beer. They were where communities gathered, teenagers socialized, and families created lasting memories. And one of my favorite treats, the root beer float, has a charming origin story dating back to the late 19th century. Legend has it that Frank J. Wisner, owner of the Cripple Creek Brewing Company in Colorado, created the dessert drink in 1893 on a moonlit night while gazing at Cow Mountain. He was inspired by the snow-capped peaks and thought it resembled a scoop of vanilla ice cream floating atop a glass of soda. He combined creamy vanilla ice cream with his children's favorite drink, Myers Avenue Red Root Beer, and he called his creation a Black Cow Mountain. Now, there is some debate as to whether Frank J. Wisner was the actual creator of the root beer float. Some say that other establishments were already serving the concoction, so I don't know, but it's such a cute story. But what isn't debated is that in 1963, A&W became the first chain to include the bacon cheeseburger on its menu. And although A&W is the most nationally known root beer stand, many more locally operated stands popped up all across America. I vividly remember our local dog and Suds. It felt like we visited almost every week. And I recall my parents purchasing a child-sized root beer mug with the dog logo for me. As the youngest of 6 children, having that mug made me feel like one of the big kids. It was my most prized possession, and I always insisted on using it as my drinking glass. I held on to that mug for years, but sadly, I guess after several moves, it somehow got left behind. In the late 1960s, consumer preferences began to change. Fast food chains, which provided a wider variety of menu items and quick service, started to dominate the market.
You know, McDonald's is the closest thing to home. McDonald's fast take-home service is the perfect answer for parties, workday lunches, and family meals anytime, with no fuss or dishes to do. Whether it's a cheeseburger, fish sandwich, pure beef hamburger, our famous French fries, a triple thick shake, or a soft drink, it's America's greatest food value.
National chains such as McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's, they rapidly expanded, offering consistent and convenient dining options, and that appealed to a broader audience. They introduced standardized menus and dining experiences that became the new norm, overshadowing the more specialized offerings of the root beer stands. The economic downturn and inflation of the 1970s made it even more difficult for small, independent businesses to compete with those fast food giants. And while the heyday of the root beer stand has passed by, their legacy does live on. Some brands like A&W have adapted and survived by evolving to include modern fast food elements. Moreover, there have been a recent resurgence of interest in retro dining experiences, leading to a revival of root beer stands in some areas. And whether you're sipping on a frosty mug at a vintage stand or enjoying a root beer at home, you're part of a tradition that has brought smiles and refreshments to countless lives. Feel free to share your memories in the comments. Let me know if you have a root beer stand near you. And like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to me if you haven't done so already. Thanks so much for watching, and stay fizzy.
High time for hires.
Open a bottle.
Your time for hires.
My time for hires.
High time for hires root beer. Open a bottle.
Bright lively hires.
Bright happy hires. High time for hires root beer.
If you want to change your pace, why then the time is here.
For the bright and lively flavor of hires root beer. Your time for hires.
My time for hires.